Alright, we're going to take a look at replacing a cartridge on a regular old faucet. This is a standard bathroom faucet. Taking it out, it's brand new. This one obviously isn't leaking, but one that is, a lot of times what happens is there's it's called a cartridge, which is usually just a valve that opens and closes that allows the water to start and stop, and a lot of times the O-rings and things like that around it will go bad. You can either replace the rings or replace the whole cartridge itself. So first thing, you've got to get to the you have to get to the inside. And again, I'm working with the cold side here. The hot side I've already taken apart for you. The first thing you do is you take off the cap. You want to be careful that you don't damage the plastic, but a lot of times you can get underneath the perimeter here. You can pop that off. Once you pop that off, you're going to find there's usually a Phillips or flathead screw in there. And again, that can be taken off. I'm going to work on this other side here. Well, you can take that off. And when you take that off, then the handle will come off. So the handle will pop right off. Alright, now we get to where we are here. I've already loosened this with a wrench. And then right here, there's just another collar. This has a hex top on it. Again, all I did was I took an adjustable wrench carefully, because there's not a lot of lip there. Loosen this thing off and unscrews. Careful not to use the plastic ring here. Again, this makes a tight seal against the bottom. And then you pull this out. It's usually fit in tight like this. You pull this thing straight up. This is the cartridge. Okay, and again, the cartridge just simply opens and closes. When you turn it, this is what's opening and closing. It actually makes the valve turn on and off, or makes the water start and stop. A lot of times you can just simply buy the cartridge. Sometimes it's just a matter of replacing this little ring here. And again, the result you would have, or the problem that you may have, is that this is constantly running or leaking a little bit. And again, a lot of times it's just simply replacing this rubber seal. There's also one in this case inside there. It could be that as well. And again, a lot of times, as long as you keep track of what you're doing, it's just a matter of getting a kit or buying the appropriate parts to put it back in. This one's got a spring on it, so you want to make sure you don't lose that so that doesn't go down the drain. And again, that can all be replaced out and replace the faucet. Although this is a $20 faucet, sometimes it may be easier to replace the whole thing. But in this case, it's probably a $3 part, and it'll save you some money. Once you replace whatever part you may, and again, most of the time you'll replace both the rubber seals, or in this case, possibly the whole cartridge if you need to. Although there's not a whole lot that's going to go wrong in the nylon parts here. It's usually, like I said, just a seal, unless there's a rubber gasket or something in there. It's just a matter of putting everything back together. There's two slots on the side here, at least for this one. They just fit down there. The cartridge will fit nice and tight. Just flip that around there. Put your plastic ring back on. Collar goes back on top. Take and tighten this up again. If it's a visible plated filling or fitting, you want to make sure that you use some type of rag between your tool and the plate. Otherwise, you could chip it off. I'm going to put this on just tight enough. You don't want to crack it, especially if it's a cheap fixture like this. You could potentially crack it. Now I'm going to put the top back on. The top should only fit in one direction. Check it before you screw it down. Make sure it only moves. Go ahead, put your screw back on. Again, I always suggest using hand tools when you're doing stuff like this. You don't ever want to use a drill with a driver or anything. You'll end up cracking fixtures or stripping out screws. It's much too aggressive. Always work with, a screwdriver. And then your cap just simply sets on. You're going to make sure it's facing the direction you want it. Also make sure that, in this case, if this is the open position, I want to make sure that it's facing me when it's off. Simply snapping on, and that's it.